Pecorino Plays Ball by Madison, illustrated by AnnaLaura Cantone. Everyone thought Pecorino Sasquatch was the silliest boy in the whole wide world. He was so silly that he would wear slippers in a snowstorm and boots in a bath. He was so silly he would eat candy on Thanksgiving and turkey on Halloween. One fine sparkling morn, Pecorino's mother awoke him, announcing, "My dearest dumpling, today is the special spring Saturday. It is the first day of a little league." Pecorino was so excited he sprung out of bed and sprang to his window. It was a beautiful outside. The trees were singing and the birds were budding. "Wait a spring a second," moaned Pecorino. "What's a little league?" "Little league," explained his mother, "is when the children on one team play a baseball against the children on another team." From the edge of the field, in the great green park, they watched boys and girls in tiger orange shirts scoop, sketch, and scorch baseballs. Mrs. Sasquatch gave Pecorino a peck on the cheek, whispered, "Have a fun," and sidestepped over to the other grown-ups. "Coach Credence is my name, and a baseball is my game," boomed a big voice from above. The massive man, shaped like a bowling pin with a small head and a wide bottom, eyeballed Pecorino from toe to top, then teetered to hand him the very last orange shirt. Pecorino slid into the extra large uniform. Boxy black letters crossed his chest and dropped to his sneaker tops. Upside down, he read, "Alone, we sell oxes." Pecorino worried that instead of playing baseball like the others, he would be selling big blue Bunyan-esque oxes. Two teammates, gum bubbles bursting off their lips, stared at Pecorino. They wore orange shirts exactly like his, except theirs read, "Malone's, we sell boxes." Pecorino slowly lifted one arm. Hiding underneath was a capital M, and on his hip he had a big B. Then he lifted his other arm, and there was a little S. "Oh!" exclaimed Pecorino. "We don't sell oxes, we sell boxes!" And the gum burblers scuttled away. As Pecorino scuttled after them, he stepped on the tiger orange tail of his extra long shirt, tripped, and somersaulted into the grass. "Tuck it in!" commanded Coach Credenza. He tucked and tucked until "We sell oxes" disappeared below his belt, and all that was left written across his belly was, "Alone." "The Malones don't lose," growled the coach, pointing Pecorino to the right field. "If a ball comes, you better catch it." There was one problem, thought Pecorino as he rambled to the right. He had never actually caught a baseball. The pitcher pitched, the batter swung, the bat cracked. Pecorino looked up, but all he saw were cottony clouds. The white pill of all hopped to one of the gum burbling boys, who scooped it, then scorched it to the other gum burbler, who scratched it right up. "You're out!" howled the umpire, hitchhiking his thick thumb to the sky. Pecorino imagined himself burbling bubbles, scooping and scorching, but there were two problems. He didn't have any gum, and he had never caught a baseball. After 3 year outs, it was his team's turn to the bat. A boy, blowing a small pink balloon of a bubble, jogged out to take Pecorino's spot in right field. Scripty red letters crossed his chest and dropped to his sneaker tops. Pecorino read out loud, "Hit me ear." The boy popped his bubble and stretched his arm up as he passed. Now his shirt read, "White women's wear." "Better tuck it in," advised Pecorino. The boy tucked and tucked until the ear, which used to be wear, disappeared below his belt, and written across his belly was, "Hit me." Big bat on his shoulders, Pecorino crouched over home plate. "The boxes don't lose," Coach Credenza boiled. "If a ball comes, you better hit it." Now, there were 3 problems. Pecorino counted. 1, he didn't have any gum. 2, he had never hit a baseball. And 3, he had certainly never hit one. He never caught a baseball. "Strike 1!" the umpire bellowed as the blur of a ball zippered by. Pecorino squinted his eyes and saw Hit Me standing way away where he wished he was. "Strike 2!" The blur ball smacked into the catcher's glove. Pecorino needed to swing, and hard. He gritted his teeth and gathered all of his strength from his ankles to his eyeballs. The pitcher pitched. Pecorino swung and missed. "You're out!" yodeled the ump, throwing that thick thumb over his shoulder. Coach shook his head. The gum burblers shook their heads. The whole Alone We Sell Oxes team shook their heads. Pecorino ran straight out to right field, and Hit Me ran straight in. Near first base, their paths crossed. Hit Me nodded nicely. Pressed into the grass, where Hit Me had just stood with his 2 peanut-shaped footprints, and at the center of each was a single square of bubblegum. Pecorino popped the gooey gifts into his mouth and started to chomp. One problem solved, he chewed. Now all he had to do was hit and catch the ball. You're out! Yeped the umpire 3 more times. Pecorino ran to the dugout, and as he passed Hit Me, he called, "Thank you!" But because the gum cloggered his mouth, it sounded like "Ak-oo!" which made Hit Me think Pecorino was an Eskimo. After every set of 3 year-outs, Pecorino ran from the right field to the dugout, or from the dugout to the right field, passing Hit Me going the opposite way. So far, neither had tipped, tapped, or touched the ball with their bats, nor had they caught, corralled, or clipped the ball with their mitts. Coach Credenza cornered Pecorino. "This is it! Last licks!" he woofed. "We are winning by 1 single run. If a ball comes your way, you'd better catch it." Still, there was that one big problem. Standing way out in right field, Pecorino was far from home. He stepped into Hit Me's peanutty prints, pressed into the grass, and started to burble a bubble. Hit Me lifted his bat and stepped to the plate. There were 2 outs. If he struck out, Malone's would win the game. "Strike 1!" screeched the umpire. A teeny, tingly feeling crept up Pecorino's back and got bigger as it slithered up his neck. Pecorino wanted Hit Me to hit the ball. "Strike 2!" Hit Me's head slunkered down. Pecorino wanted Hit Me to bash the ball because, just like Pecorino, he hadn't touched it at all. Hit Me wrangled the wood, waggled the wood. The pitcher pitched the pill. The ump flexed his thumb. "Steer, swing!" pleaded Pecorino, and Hit Me swung. The bat cracked. The ball flew. Pecorino looked up, but all he saw were cottony clouds. Then he saw it. The baseball was flying right toward him. Now there was only one problem. He had never actually... Pecorino raised his mitt over his head. His extra-large, extra-long shirt pulled out from under his belt, and Malone's We Sell boxes unfurled to his feet. Hit Me rattlesnaked around second. Down came the ball. Back and back pedaled Pecorino, back and back, until he stepped on the tiger orange tail of his extra-large, extra-long shirt, tripped, splattled the glob of gum out of his mouth, and tumbled hard into the grassy ground. The ball spilled down from the clouds, mashed into his mitt, and stuck. Silence. So much silence, Pecorino thought he might be asleep. Then Coach Credenza, Mrs. Sasquatch, the Burbling boys, and the whole rest of the We Sell Oxes team let out a wildebeest whoop. They had won! Hit Me staggered past, his head slouched so far down that his chin rested on his belt. "You got it alone," he said. "Not alone at all, you helped," Pecorino reminded him. Hit Me chewed this over, nodded nicely, and smiled. The red ball of the sun set behind the singing trees and the budding birds. Mrs. Sasquatch gave Pecorino a kiss on the cheek. "Have a fun?" she asked. "I definitely did," he answered. And hand in hand, they walked the great green park toward home, not the plate.